Ohayo gozaimasu. Today we're studying Genki Lesson 17 Kanji. You can follow along in your textbook, page 301, 302. This first kanji is probably one of the most difficult kanji you'll ever have to learn. For obvious reasons, has lots of stroke orders, but in your packet it says it's recognition kanji, so I wouldn't worry about this too much. You just have to recognize it. Always followed by numbers, so makes sense, except for a couple of these examples. It's read sai or sei, and that is the onyomi. So for example, you have niju gosai for 25 years old, and that's how we're remembering this, as just age. But then you have something that also means year end. So osebo is a year-end gift. And then you have, for example, these odd readings. Instead of nijusai, you have hatachi desu. So there are some certain parts in here. I know this is recognition, but I always feel that the best way to recognize something is to learn how to write it. So learn little components here. The parts are, you have tomeru, tomaru, which means stop. And then you have this right here. This radical means march, as in to march in a parade kind of thing. And then, of course, we have small in there as well. So the mnemonic that I found online actually was, when you stop the march of the little years for a moment, you realize you've come to another year end. Now, the tricky thing about this is actually nobody writes it like that. Almost everybody writes it like this. More formal documents, of course, you're going to see this version. But this version right here is what people write in, if you're just writing something, a letter or whatever, you would use this version. So let's see how to do the stroke order for this. So the first stroke is ichi, ni, san, shi. And then you have go, roku. Then you're going to do this inside part here. So roku, nana, hachi, kyu, ju, juichi with a hook, juichi, juni, jusan. This is much easier. This one, the onyomi, the Chinese reading is read shu. The kunyomi is read nara, and that's the one we're focusing mostly on here. But narao is to learn. And then you have shuji, which is calligraphy, to learn characters, essentially. Renshu suru means to practice. We know that one already. We don't know this kanji, but we now know this kanji. And then you have shukan, which is custom or habit. I think of this one as a pictograph of two sparkling eyes. So this is somebody who's sort of keen on learning. Then you have the nose there. Can't see it, I've covered it up. And then this here is a pictograph of a mouth. So someone who's keen on learning. And the stroke order is pretty easy here. It's ichi, make that hook there. Ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu, ju, juichi desu. Another easy one, this is read shu with a short vowel. For the onyomi, for the kunyomi, it's omo or nushi. And apparently this is in the reading, it's omoni, means mainly. Also, though, we know the word for husband is goshujin. So this means lord or main, right? Also, then you have shufu, the main cleaner of the house. Interesting. Or someone with I believe this means like broom. Also, shugo, subject of a sentence, so that's more linguistic. And then you have mochinushi, someone who is the lord of things or the owner of things that they own. Pretty easy on this one. You have a lord. A lord only has a drop of the king's power, because king actually is this kanji. So if you add one drop, which notice it's going this direction and not this direction, that's always tricky, I think. Compare these kanji though. A lord, right, with a jewel. Look how the one little drop here has changed, becomes a king. And here's a stroke order. So it's ichi, ni, san, shi, go. Notice these are pretty much the same, these first two strokes, or these strokes right here. This one's a little bit longer. This kanji means to tie or to join. The onyomi is ke with a chisai tsu, or ketsu with a large su. Also then you have musu. And of course we find it in kekkon suru, to get married. Kekka means result. Ketsuron is conclusion. And then you have musubi, to tie a knot. Also, you know of a different word, musubi, which means rice ball. In any case, this is made up of a couple different radicals. You have silk thread right here, plus good luck. Means tying the knot, in terms of a thread, is good fortune. You could also say something like this: wearing a kimono made of a silk thread, this kanji, or this radical again, marrying a warrior, saying one's vows, which includes the mouth radical. So you can break it down that way as well. And the stroke order is ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu, ju, juichi, juni. Now, pay attention to this, because this is not doyobi no do, as I keep pointing out in lots of circumstances. This is shi, which means warrior or samurai. So this stroke is longer here. This is the second half of kekkon suru. So we have kon, and it means marriage. So kekkon suru. Then you also have rikon suru, which is to divorce. You have konyakusha, which means fiancé. We have shinkon, newly wed, so literally newlywed. Unmarried is mikon. And the radicals in here are pretty interesting. So the first one we see on the left-hand side is onna, and then you have this radical on the top on the right-hand side that is means name or clan. It's read shi. And of course you then have the radical for day. So a woman changes her family name the day of her marriage, or she changes her clan name. So we also see this kanji in kareshi. So here's kareshi. And then, for example, this also means Mr. or Miss or Ms. So Tanaka Mayumi shi would mean Ms. or Mrs. Tanaka Mayumi. And the stroke order is ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, don't forget your hooks here, shichi, hachi, kyu, ju, juichi desu. This is the first part of happyo suru, which means to make public or to give a presentation. And so the onyomi varies, but you have ha with the chisai tsu, hatsu, and patsu. So you often see this in onyomi, where you have, for example, one version with the small tsu, one version with the large tsu, and then you might have a sound change like patsu or batsu. In any case, a couple more words that we find with this kanji is hatsuon. Hatsuon means pronunciation. Then you have shupatsu. Shupatsu suru means to make a departure or to depart. And then you have something like hatsume, which is to invent something. This one's a little tricky because this radical on the top here, I actually don't know what that means. It's a kind of roof. It's an elaborate sort of roof. And then you have two, and then legs, right? So do like legs. So I thought of standing on two legs, giving a presentation under a type of roof, about ready to leave for the airport, if you want to include the meaning of departure here. And the stroke order is ichi, ni, then do these little ones over here, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu. Don't forget to hook that right there. The second half of happyo suru is this one right here. So it's read pyo or hyo, again showing you that there is, a lot of times with onyomi, there's two different versions, a little bit of a sound change there, a voiced, unvoiced kind of thing. Also then it is the kanji for arawasu, to point to something or to express something. And omote, those are both the kunyomis. So we know that it's in hapyosuru, it's the second kanji. Hyoshi is cover page, basically the surface paper. And then you have hyogen. Hyogen is expression. Arawasu is to express. And omote means the front of something. And this one's a little tricky, I find, because we're not really familiar with radicals here, but think of this as grow. Okay, so we know sei. We know sei means growth or birth. So that's quite similar here. And then you have clothing. This is the radical for clothing or cloth. So as you grow, you wear better clothing to express yourself and to make public presentations. So just make sure that you're not adding that extra stroke here. That's actually missing in this one. And here is the stroke order. Ichi. Then you do the vertical line. Ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi. So this is really reminiscent here of taberu, the bottom part of taberu, when you go like this, right? This is one of my favorite kanji, not only because it's so easy, but it's also just really intuitive. It means goods or merchandise or refinement. So you have hin is the onyomi, the Chinese reading. The Japanese reading, the kunyomi, is shina or jina. Notice here as well that you have kind of a sound change. That happens a lot with on or kun, I guess. But here you have sakuhin, which means something, some piece of work that you have created. You also have johin. Johin is a non-adjective. It means elegant. Teijina is magic, so goods you produce with your hands, I guess you can think of it as. Merchandise is shinamono. And I always think of this one as merchandise is like cinnamon, shinamono. And really, the strategy for this is it looks like boxes of goods. Each one of those represents a box, and they're stacked on top of each other. And this stroke order is really easy. It's ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu. Another easy one, this one is ji. That's the onyomi. And we see it in things like moji, which means character. And by character, what they mean is letter, right? So moji is a letter. Also, you have akaji. So literally, aka is red letter. You're in the red letter area in your accounting. You have a deficit. Also, myoji is a family name. And then you have omoji, which means uppercase letters, and then we also see this in the word kanji. And think of this as a child, right? So we have child here, and they're practicing the u. So really that top is u. It's u, but it's been shortened, right? So it's katakana u, and all you're doing is shortening this part right here. That's what we call u kamuri. There's also wa kamuri, which is wa, which is shortened like that, right? Oops, a little too long. In any case, stroke order is ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku. Seikatsu no katsu is also a very easy one. It's read katsu or ka, and we've noticed this before in previous kanji as well, the large tsu versus the chisai tsu. And we can see this in, it means lively or life. Sei katsudo, activity. Seikatsu, living or life. Kappatsuna means active, so it's a non-adjective. And then you have katsuyo, which means conjugation, as well as kakki, which is liveliness. But really the strategy for this one is super easy. It's 1,000 mouths needing water to live, meaning life or living or lively. And so it's, the stroke order is ichi, ni, san, shi, go, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is shashin no sha. It means to copy. Sha is the onyomi. Utsu is the kunyomi, the Japanese reading. So you have, for example, shashin, utsusu. Perhaps you remember this from the last chapter where we studied how Doraemon used Ankipan. And if you put the Ankipan on the page and copy the information and then eat the Ankipan, that's utsusu. Shase is to sketch. And byosha suru is to describe something. Strategy for this one, I kind of had a hard time. I always think of this as a 5, not quite a 5. You have to essentially make that line come up a little bit further, but 5 with a line through it. And of course, this is wa kamburi. This is wa reduced to this. But if you think of this instead as perhaps the edge of a picture, then you think of 5 photos and where you're showing the top edge here. That's not a super great strategy, but maybe if you come up with something else, you could tell me in class. And the stroke order is ichi, ni, don't forget that hook, san, shi, that whole thing is the 4th stroke, and then go. Second half of shashin, shin is the onyomi, ma is the kunyomi. So shashin, it means truth or reality. So shashin is essentially a copy of reality or a photograph. Mannaka means center. So true center here in a sense. Also you have ma-ue meaning right above something, as well as mayonaka, the true night middle, which is midnight. I think of this one as a pictograph. You could break it down into its individual radicals, but if you think of this as, this part right here, this is the top of the easel, you've got your stand in the back here, and then you have whatever it is on your easel is represented with this. There's the bottom of your easel, and there are the legs that the easel is standing on. So you could, as I said, break it down into 10 eyes, and then you have 1 at the bottom plus 8 here. So I don't know, you could say something like 10 eyes plus 18 eyes sees reality. I don't know if that's helpful, though. I do like the pictograph option here a little bit better. But here's a stroke order. So it's ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, kyu, 10 desu. Back to something a little simpler. This is the kanji for aruku, to walk. And it's onyomi is ho or po. So, of course, we see it in aruku. But also with the onyomi, you have something like hodo. Hodo means sidewalk. Sanpo suru, which we kind of know already, sanpo suru. Ippo is 1 step. And shimpo is progress. So the radicals in this one are stop, and then you have a little bit on the bottom, skoshi. So stop walking a little bit and enjoy the flowers is what I came up with. And we start here with a stroke order. It's ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi. Last kanji. This one, the reading we're focusing on is the kunyomi, that's no. The onyomi is ya. So we see this in bunya, which is realm or field. We also have ono-san, which is a name in Japanese, ono. Nagano, so I guess actually we're looking at both readings here. Nagano, which is where the Winter Olympics were several years ago, I can't remember when. Also, you have yakyu as well as yasai. And this one's actually pretty easy to remember. It has a rice field on top of land. And then that right-hand radical, which is made up of katakana ma and katakana a, means beforehand. Beforehand. So think of before people came here, this was land with rice fields on top. Also then, if you take that right radical, we recognize it in, so you can actually learn this kanji to write yoyaku suru. Yoyaku suru is to make a promise or appointment or reservation beforehand. And here's the stroke order. This one is fairly easy. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10、11。はい、お疲れ様でした。